So that's the thing. So there has to be fire in other Star Wars, so there's explosions. And this guy's saying, like, well, look at all this other fire here. And I'm saying, well, that's in the 90s special edition bull crap. That doesn't count. Right. Then only original George Lucas special effects count. And he found one, and it was just an explosion. And he's saying, well, no, it's a fire. No, an explosion's not a fire. An explosion is an explosion.
Well, a fire is an explosion, but an explosion isn't necessarily fire.
Right. Yes. No.
Combustion is an explosion.
Yes, but not all fires are. There are different branches of the combustion family tree.
Yeah, like my lighter isn't an explosion.
Yes, it is. It's a very small explosion.
The spark would be technically, but the actual flame isn't an explosion.
An explosion creates the fire. That's not the problem.
Right.
Okay. You and I were talking about this the other day, Larry. We're talking about types of fire. Where does my fire knowledge come from? My old man was a bosun, okay, and a pedant. So he loved to talk about all of his expertise in various subjects that he got in the Navy, which means it was drilled into my brain. Okay? What's a bosun? It's basically a fucking secretary. All right? It does some very vital roles, but the fact of the matter is that it is not the high life on a boat. Okay? One of my dad's things is he was the leader on a fire suppression team in peacetime when no fires were actually made. But he was the guy who had the training.
Fire.
What?
She'll need to be ready if the fire does happen.
Right. He had the training and he oversaw the drilling for people to know about fire. So I know about fire. What is this?
Let's see. According to Merriam-Webster, an explosion is a large-scale, rapid, or spectacular expansion or bursting out forth.
What? You really want to know? Yes! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! No! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! What's your name? What? What's your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony! Fuck you! What's your name? What? What's your name? Ezekiel! Ezekiel? That name fucking sucks! Hey! Guess what I did last night? Don't you fucking bring my mother into this! My mother? You guess what I did? What? I built that fire over there. And then I fucked your mother next to it. Fuck you! Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! I'll fuck you in the ass! Fuck you! I'll fuck your mother! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Hey! Guess what I got in this bag?
All right.
If ever there was proof as to the necessity of fences.
I mean, if we're gonna do something,
that's how I felt this conversation was going. So
no.
along.
Church has a much better video to explain this conversation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, I couldn't find you any grimace shakes.
Grandpa? Grandpa, stop! Give me that shit!
What the Sigma?
No, my God, Grandpa, shut up!
Nurse, may I just say you look absolutely W-skibbity thick with two
Grandpa?
C's today.
Grandpa?
Yeah!
No, I don't...
Would you perchance?
Okay.
What the fuck?
That is Zoomy Zoom talk, and that was a Zoomy Zoom in the future.
Okay, that is worse than anything I've ever showed any of you guys.
That's Ohio level cringe, Larry.
All I was trying to get at was that there are different kinds of fire from different starts of different sources that answer to different mechanics, but they are all fire.
Fuck you!
So welcome to a very special Gospel of Comics where we have a lot of reviews today. And some of them are comics adjacent. Some are even comics related.
Is there a Frankenhooker
Some of them make
comic?
me miss drugs.
There is not a Frankenhooker comic, but there is
there
something
should
really,
be.
really close. Have you guys heard of Maggot Girl?
No.
Glenn Danzig makes comics, and he made a comic about an undead hooker.
That he actually also made into a movie.
I've not seen the movie yet, but I have seen the book.
It is vile.
The movie or the book? Because I knew the book was vile.
Movie.
I mean, it's a Danzig joint. He does not make movies. He makes schizophrenia manifest.
Yes. But there are, of course, trauma comics for, Toxic Avenger, which is an obvious layout. So it's comics adjacent in that area.
I fucking grew up watching the Toxic Avenger cartoon. I can't believe I have to admit that reality exists.
Yes. And also, James Gunn, the current man to save DC Comics, got his start as a filmmaker at Trauma.
Apparently, Bill Murray did a cover review for Frankenhooker and said, "You only see one movie this year. It should be Frankenhooker."
But it wasn't that Bill Murray. It was Bill Murray, the director's chiropractor.
Hey, that's probably the same guy. I bought coffee from him one time.
It has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 14 reviews.
You could beat one of those reviews there.
How many of those are yours, Ayrton?
Only 3.
So, what do we want to start with? Do we want to start with Frankenhooker? Because we all watched that together. That does seem to make sense.
I think that's where we're starting.
So, Ayrton, so you are the one who inflicted this pain upon all of us. You need to start.
All right, so I'm going to read a couple of sections from the Wikipedia. Frankenhooker is a 1990 American black comedy horror film directed by Frank Henenlotter, very loosely inspired by Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein or The Modern Prometheus.
I mean, I want to posit it is very loosely inspired by the idea of comedy, because it wasn't that.
So my favorite part of this, we'll skip over the plot part. So under the release section,
there's a plot.
Yeah, it says Frankenhooker's initial release was delayed because of the difficulty obtaining an R rating from the MPAA. The director recalls that one representative of the ratings body actually said in a phone call to the production company's secretary, "Congratulations, you're the first film rated S." And she said, "S for sex?" And they said, "No, S for shit."
Now that needs to be on the cover of your movie.
Let's see. To his dismay, Henenlotter's conservative parents insisted on attending the film's premiere in New York City. He expressed surprise that they were not offended by the exploitative elements. And let's see, it was named Killer Bee Film of the Year in 1990 by Entertainment Television. And then, as Church said, Bill Murray was quoted as saying, if you should see one movie this year, it should be Frankenhooker.
So the first thought that I had and Rune backed it up with me because we were both classic individuals. This should have actually been loosely inspired by Reanimator, which is based on an H.P. Lovecraft story that is in the public domain. Because other than the one scene where they did the classic 1930s Frankenstein gimmick for bringing a body back from the dead, it had more in common aesthetically with the Reanimator series.
In the Reanimator series, does the main character use a power drill inserted into his brain to come up with ideas?
No, in Reanimator, a headless corpse puts its own head between what's her name? Melissa Crampton?
Yes.
Lisa Crampton? Between the very shapely legs of a beautiful young woman to commit cunnilingus on her against her will while she screams. It's amazing.
That sounds more morally wrong than what we just watched.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In Reanimator, it's presented as morally wrong and offensive and is horror-inducing.
Hey, do you not remember?
In this, they would do it for laughs.
No, see, don't you remember the overly specific expositional emotional state of our main character Jeffrey as he's talking to his mother, saying he's feeling amoral in his grief and that he's going to do some bad things, and then she asks what he wants for supper?
Right, that's the problem. That's the problem with this film.
They're making the obvious reaction in the front end as a joke to cover them on the back end.
Right. The thing is that in Reanimator, you have Jeffrey Combs playing Herbert West, and he is dyed-in-the-wool of Frankenstein. Okay? He is a mad scientist here to do mad scientist crimes, and is a piece of shit from the get-go. But he plays it so seriously, so absolutely. He's not making jokes. He's not cracking wise. He believes that if he can just figure out this horrible, death-rejuvenating science, he will make the world a better place. And so you believe it too, right? Frankenhooker is, what if Victor Frankenstein was an uneducated rube from Jersey?
I mean, in fairness, he was pretty educated. He figured out how to make Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, he said like,
yeah, but with a
E equals
giant
MC squared and shit.
Yeah, but with a giant spark plug, by preserving the body suspended in purple goo that was clearly somebody's Kool-Aid, and they started the movie. Remember, they started the movie with him experimenting on a brain hooked up to a car battery on the kitchen table while his mom made food.
Hey,
in the same kitchen.
No genius
I think it was his fiance's mom made the food in the kitchen, but still.
Still.
Remember, Rune, the quote from Socrates: all genius comes with a touch of madness.
I mean, I don't believe that is supposed to infer that the madness involved is the touch of anger the viewer has for what they're looking at.
So, Church, the element of this movie I found most unnecessary, but also the most hilarious, was Super Crack.
Super Crack is the best thing to ever come out of any movie ever. I'm upset that I didn't come up with it on my own.
Will you give us a quick rundown of what Super Crack is?
I mean, it's crack, but on steroids. It makes you explode. That's pretty much it, right?
That is it. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
But this movie is
also. If anybody can send me some Super Crack to the PO box in the description down below.
Or
do you have a guinea pig you want to get rid of?
Is that just a statement of how Church wants to end it all? Is some Super Crack?
Or
hey, do we have a ding 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 sound effect there?
If we get enough
That's the best I got for you.
Fantastic.
Now you see, here's what I would have offered you instead of that.
Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no.
But yeah, so it's everything you expected it to be. For Frankenstein, the man's wife dies. He needs to assemble body parts.
Hold on. You're skipping over how she died.
Yeah, because she stood in front of an automated lawnmower that he told her not to.
Lawnmower, yes.
That he told her not to.
Very subdued.
In the most non-committal way
no.
possible.
Oh no, please don't stand in front of the lawnmower.
Also, he was telling his fiance she was fat too, so that's another red flag in this whole situation. And then he goes to get hookers because it says Frankenhooker on the title of the video. So obviously,
he wanted to make her the perfect centerfold model woman.
Well, I mean, if you got to crack the eggs anyway,
right?
And her eggs certainly got cracked by that lawnmower.
Would you say they were super cracked?
You were giving my joke shit earlier. You know what? Just for that, Rune. Motherfucker has the I don't know what you just did, but I hated it.
Yes, Frankenhooker makes people explode with super crack because you explode when you smoke super crack.
There was also a lot of tits because it was typical 80s schlock.
Yes.
There was in fact the closest exploration of a nipple I have ever seen in a film. They literally pulled out the magnifying glass to make sure you got the full image of what they were looking at.
As you should. I mean, that's what I do anytime I see one.
Yeah, same. Do you not keep a magnifying glass in your pocket for nipple inspection?
I do not have a nipple inspecting thing. I believe that it is better to use the hand method.
Well, yeah, he used his hand after, remember? He pokes at it and pinches it and shit.
And don't forget he puts a check mark on that one chick's buttocks.
Which I also do
for the rest of the movie.
Now, can we talk about the stuff that was actually kind of good, like the set design and the makeup? Because it was unreasonably good for how bad this movie was.
You know, what you've just done is you're going to create the unifying thread that's going to unite all of the non-animated content we're going to be talking about today.
Well, I want to be fair. Well, we're going to sing the praises of Frankenhooker as a terrible movie with surprisingly good production values. It is worth remembering that those production values are incredibly inconsistent. There are scenes that are surprisingly really good, and then there are parts that are really bad. Every fake head looks awful.
I mean, it's what people for trauma films expect.
Right. They certainly meet the bar of trauma. So really it's not even saying that they're good by movie standards. There are a couple of scenes and a couple of depictions that are surprisingly good for a trauma movie.
No, but I thought like once she's assembled, like the way they actually like
Oh no, that was
the
good.
makeup on her arms and stuff to like mismatch the colors and everything,
Yeah.
and like the set design for like his lab in the garage and stuff, and like his room with like all the pictures everywhere. Like there were little touches like in all of the sets in the background that were actually like very well detailed and way too good for this movie. Like it's stuff you would be like that like MCU nerds would be looking in the background for like, you know, Easter eggs and stuff. It was like that level of detail in the set design. But yeah, overall the Frankenhooker's monster, like I thought the makeup was really good. It was like not necessarily like A tier movie level, but I would say like a good Broadway show level makeup artistry. Like if it was a stage performance and you were out in the audience, it would look really, really good.
So yeah, that was a thing we did together. We have now a shared bonding trauma.
I'm not traumatized.
We have been trauma bonded.
I'm not traumatized. I'm kind of horny, to be honest with you.
Of course you are.
So Rue, you said you saw something to bring to the show?
Yes. Let me get this set up here real quick while I contemplate my own death.
So an average Sunday evening.
Oh, good. It has sound. Just what we need.
So we're playing something early. Because we have given Rune so many special memories. He's going to give us one now.
All right. You guys ready?
Oh, I already like it.
Y'all good?
Nondescript bubbling in the bottom of the pan. Hell yeah.
Oreos are vegan. Corn is vegan.
Is that rice?
Yes. This person took an entire tray of Oreos, breaks it down, melts it, mixes it up, puts in corn and baked beans, mixes it up, and pours it over.
Those weren't baked beans.
And then
those were pinto beans.
I mean,
baked beans would have been better.
See, my only critique is he should have boiled the Oreos in milk instead of water, and then added the corn and the beans.
No, then it wouldn't be vegan.
No, then it wouldn't be vegan.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm also curious about what that would have.
Yeah, those are pintos.
That's not better.
I think that might have actually tasted good.
The fuck is wrong? It's sugar. It's Oreos and corn and pinto beans on rice. It's a crime.
I mean,
I love how you try and get me back on food and it's just blowing up in your face.
If Ayrton wasn't already horny, he is now.
I am actively beating off with a pinky up the ass right now for this video.
I'm actually curious because it's kind of like that curry where you mix in your chocolate powder to balance out the curry flavoring.
Yeah,
or that can actually taste good.
like, have you ever gotten like a chocolate hummus?
Hummus, yes.
Yeah, like you know, I would imagine the pinto beans would taste kind of similar to like a chickpea mixed with chocolate.
And I think Church would be right. The sauce on the baked bean would have been better.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to disagree with Church on that one. Baked beans are not the play. The pinto beans, those are good.
No, I didn't say baked beans would be the play.
You thought it'd be better.
at least, it would be better in the sense of the content, not the actual flavor profile. I don't want to eat this ever.
But it's vegan.
I got you.
It is vegan, and that's why I would never eat it.
I mean, that's fair. So, I saw Star Wars The Acolyte, and I'm deeply and profoundly vexed by it. I went to Port Royal in the Caribbean to watch it, and there are a lot of interesting things to say about it. Like, first, the set design and costumes are all really good, and the effects. They are better than anything outside of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. So, people gave a damn when they designed stuff with this. The only negative marks I would give on the costuming are the fact that they use the High Republic outfits for Jedi and Coruscant, and those look like garbage. The color scheme on the High Republic outfits are just atrocious.
So you're saying that Frankenhooker had better costume design than the Acolyte?
I mean, Frankenhooker just had 80s clothes.
Yeah, so it was better.
I'm not sure this really counts as a design, but it's a high quality. It was a higher quality than I expected. The acting is decent to serviceable, except for the showrunner's wife, whose acting is poor. But I mean, she's married to the boss, so she doesn't have to worry about her performance quality. The male lead from Squid Game learned English so he could play a wise Jedi Master. And he did a really good job. But the problem is the storytelling and how the world building and the storytelling interplays in, and we're going to have a bad time. I'm going to talk about where I see the bad time. I have not gotten access to the third episode early like some of the people in our little slice of the internet have. So it's a murder mystery, except we find out immediately the first 15 minutes of the show what the murder's all about, who's doing it, how they're doing it. And
so it's
also,
a reverse murder mystery?
No. We also find out about the red herring. It's going to be the driving plot device, because there's two identical twins. And we know the murder is connected to something the Jedi did that was dirty. But we don't know what that dirty thing is yet, and they're not even really alluding to it. So we have no reason to care about the mystery. We have no reason to care about the twist. And the only characters that we actually have a reason to be emotionally invested in are getting murdered. So all of that doesn't work out well. And then there is the problem of it being twins. Besides that being a cliche, the two twins have a special force power. And their special force power enables them to feel each other, except they both thought they were dead until the show started. Which doesn't make any sense on the surface, but the more I've thought about the show, the more I know what is going to be revealed in episode 3.
That it's all a dream?
No.
It's like some Inception shit?
No. In episode 3, what's going to be revealed is these were all Dark Force users. Her whole family and everything. And the Jedi actually saved our principal protagonist character from being raised by the Sith. And they feel bad about it. And that's the guilt that's at the center of the murder mystery. And if I'm right, that's just going to be really disappointing for the show. It's going to be kind of lame, and the show's going to want to focus on why the Sith are actually the good guys. Really.
Oh, God, we're going to do that bullshit?
I mean, we already kind of had that in Knights of the Old Republic, didn't we?
No. The Sith were still the bad guys, but our good guy protagonist had been part of the bad guys.
So, in Knights of the Old Republic back in the day, and in the Old Republic MMO today, they go at it with the correct answer, which is that good and evil are objectively a choice. Because you could do good things in a bad way, and I hate to tell you, you're still a bad guy because you did it the wrong way, even if the results were good. Modern Disney wants to make good and evil binary absolutes, and then say, but bad guys are just misunderstood.
They want to go all Pomo with it.
Right.
That what we consider evil is stuff we consider evil.
You mispronounced Chomo.
No, it's Pomo, postmodern.
I thought it was
It's
Homo.
I mean, it's Homo is Pomo.
It is fake and gay. That's ultimately what we're saying.
Yes. And so far, if they keep up the energy for the first 2 episodes, I would recommend watching this show. But what I predict is going to happen is we're going to find out she was a Dark Force user. They're going to kill the Wookiee Jedi. And honestly, why can't we just see a Wookiee as a Jedi, as a character, and just enjoy that? And then,
can we have a Wookiee character that isn't just a reference to, hey, do you guys remember Chewbacca?
I mean, Wookiees are just cool.
No, I know Wookiees are cool, but I'm saying I'd like Wookiees to be cool on their own.
Yeah. And what's going to happen is either the identical twin was actually dead all along, and she's using a force power to teleport and do evil things and be schizophrenic, or they're going to do a switcheroo where she infiltrates the evil sect and discovers that the leader of the Sith is actually her mom, and her mom's not dead.
Oh, wait a minute. Another option, because you've touched on it. She was always a good Force user, but she was dead, and she's been cloned by the Sith, because Sith cloning is a thing, and now there's a good clone and a bad clone.
Or it's just one person, and the quote-unquote twin aspects is like a split personality, one that follows the light, one that follows the dark.
Right, because they're just horrifically neurodivergent, but it's all the Jedi's fault.
Yeah.
Now,
I hate that term.
Now, the rumor for episode 3 is we're going to find out that our main protagonist and the secondary...
Now, this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.
that the main protagonist and the secondary protagonist come from a planet where you don't have a mommy and a daddy, you just have 2 mommies somehow, and that they use pronouns.
They did this better on the Orville.
That is the rumor.
And I still hated it, but it was better done.
I also watched while I was in Port Royal. I watched X-Men '97. Now, Rune had watched it earlier, I believe.
I watched the completion. It's passable, but passable is
I
not
watched
good.
the first 3 episodes, and one of my problems with it is the animation style. It's not good.
Animation is chunky, and they took away Rogue's ass.
So
that's what I'm most upset about.
I know it is.
Yes. So the problem with the animation style is it's computer done instead of done by hand. And so it has a vaguely made in Flash character style. It's not really good. The animation of mouths is not really good. The voice acting with the original voice cast, they were too old to do these parts.
Here's the thing. Let's be honest with ourselves. The problem
That's the name of a porno.
Is that the animation problem is easily fixed by just adding more frames. Just add more frames. Right? They didn't want to add more frames because more frames meant more time. But wait a minute, it's digitally generated. It's almost no time if you do it right. And I know this because here I am over in game design learning how to work with Unreal, which, let me tell you, it's not fun to learn wholly new skill sets of a mathematical nature when you're bad at math. Okay? But you can do it. It can be done. And these are skilled labor. Presumably they can do it. So it's literally, we didn't do it because we didn't want to do it. And
Look,
it shows
there
in
are
the
only
final
so many.
product.
There are only so many Koreans that Disney has on their plantation.
Well, I mean,
no, they do grow them there.
Well, look, if that's the answer, then you're clearly running your plantations wrong. Clearly, Disney needs to hire some strong white men because we remember how to run plantations.
Based.
No, that was horrible, and I should feel bad, and I do feel bad. It's very inappropriate.
Rune's villain arc is off to a great start.
The other problem I have from a production standpoint is they brought back a lot of the original voice actors, and they were too old. They were too old. Storm sounds like a black grandma. Because the actress who voiced Storm probably is a grandma at this point. And it was distracting. I only got into episode 3, and they were redoing the Trial of Magneto arc. So Papa Church, what do you remember of the original Trial of Magneto that led to Magneto becoming in charge of Xavier's school for the first time?
Well, it's kind of a misnomer because Magneto was one of the founders of Xavier's school. But
that wasn't originally in the actual text back then. That was a retcon later.
Not a bad retcon, sure.
No, it wasn't a bad retcon.
I mean, what are we talking about? The original Uncanny or the show?
Well,
they do it in the show.
We're talking about the comic book right now.
The show is doing their version of the Uncanny, and
but
Larry's asking you about the Uncanny.
Oh, right, because the Trial of Magneto was after the show aired. Okay.
No, not that trial. I'm talking about the original trial that it happened before the show ever aired.
Oh, the Claremont Trial of Magneto?
The Claremont Trial of Magneto.
Oh, fuck. I mean, not a lot. I need to reread it. It's been a long time. I mean, I read my Claremont probably a decade ago.
So here's my problem with what they did.
I don't remember it being the highlight of Claremont's run. I mean, obviously that was the Dark Phoenix saga.
It wasn't the highlight, but it was significant. Because it was made to say, hey, listen, everything can change. Everything's up in the air. So they decided to introduce this plot in episode 2 and then pull it off in episode 3. And it really needed to be an end of a season arc. That was my problem with it.
That's a problem with the whole season. Mm-hmm. In matter of point. Do you mind spoilers?
Sure.
Because these are about canon events in book, not just the show.
Yeah.
They have combined in this one season the Trial of Magneto from Claremont.
That's when they first pointed him out to be a Holocaust survivor in the comics, right?
I'd have to reread that. I know it was around the same time.
I think that's where they established that where he was a Holocaust survivor, and he turned himself in or some shit.
Well, are you sure that isn't also part of God Loves Man Kills?
No, God Loves Man Kills was
because that's still Claremont.
After that, it was God Loves Man Kills. I think was after Days of Future Past, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that
the Trial of Magneto kind of happened concurrently with Secret Wars 2, if I'm correct in my time frame.
Well, that's the thing.
Because Magneto was a good guy firmly in Secret Wars 2.
But here's the thing. In this,
he had just started associating with the X-Men. during Secret
He was in
Wars.
his good guy costume in Secret Wars too.
But here's the thing: in this season, they combine elements of the Trial of Magneto, the destruction of Genosha, right? Asteroid M2 Electric Boogaloo, more asteroid, more M. Zero Tolerance with Bastion. The Goblin Queen arc. Like, but the entirety of Madeline Pryor is reduced to an episode and a half. Right? They skip entirely Executioner's song. But they're going to deal with Ascani's son. Right? With Jean and Cyclops in the future now. Right?
That's the season finale, if I remember correctly.
And they have a lead-in for jumping to a 2000s era plotline. So we're going to entirely jump multiple character development arcs to go immediately into bringing Gambit back from the dead as Apocalypse's Horseman of Death. And we did Deadly Attractions because we just ripped out Wolverine's skeleton.
Oh, they also have the Magneto and Rogue romance way early too.
Yeah, it's a greatest hits of X-Men, and it doesn't actually do any of them particularly well, in my opinion. It's an acceptable watch. It's not a great comics guy watch.
I will say they do a very good job of nailing the Claremont Scott Summers character. Far better than any of the comics have done.
Oh, you mean by having him be utterly disreputable and I despise him with every ounce of my being?
Well, I mean, I'm only into episode 3.
He's gonna go on a my daddy doesn't love me pissant rant because they're setting up Cyclops and him being pissed off at humanity for isolationism.
Oh,
and he's
right.
Going to
This
gonna
is
have
where
that.
Xavier is for space too, isn't it?
Xavier's already in space when the series starts, and then he's going to come back alive, and then we're going to be mad at him for being temp dead. But the thing is that he has that bitch fit, might I add, on national TV in front of the world. Because he has to, because that's what we do, is we have family disputes in front of the TV. Because no one anywhere would have thought better of this before. Right? Because everybody is emotional and everybody makes decisions like children because X-Men is a soap opera. And always has been.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
I mean, yeah. Because nothing gets time to breathe. Because they've only got 10 episodes to do anything in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything to me feels like it's hyper fast. Look at the shiny keys,
or flabby,
and undercooked. Yeah, because I wouldn't mind, as a for instance, Cyclops and Jean Grey having their couples fight and it getting on TV, if the events that led to it, I'm literally quoting the show, had been less than one instance where Madeline Pryor and Cyclops touched minds on a personal level because Jean Grey's like, but that was our thing. It's like, bitch, you were dead.
Mm-hmm. You can't be mad at Cyclops because you were dead.
Right.
And it's also your clone.
And you've been back 48 hours, if that. You know, people are going to make mistakes. Relationships are hard. Imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say it's Trish Trilby and Beast are a thing because they were a thing in comics, and they have a emotional fight, and they have a reconciliation within the next episode where Beast is shitty to her, but then she gets turned into a Bastion Sentinel, and we're supposed to feel bad about it. And then I want to say she does in fact get exploded.
Like a Frankenhooker.
Yeah. But the thing is, it happens all so quickly that we don't have any opportunity to have unfortunate context about these things. Right? But Bastion goes from cool, collected supervillain to ravening psychopath in less than 5 episodes.
Sounds like my ex-wife.
So, I don't recommend this. I mean, it's like if you have nothing else better to do, it's acceptable. But, if you have nothing else better to do than watch bad television, you should find something else better to do. I only watched it because I was in Port Royal.
You could watch Frankenhooker instead.
You could.
It's okay, and I would advocate watching X-Men 97 before I'd advocate watching Frankenhooker.
How dare you?
But I will say that I think something we didn't touch on is that X-Men 97, even if they claim otherwise, and they've tried to defend it, is a stealth advertisement for other renewal television series.
Like the Spider-Man one.
There are a multitude of cameos.
Yeah, we already know Spider-Man's in the works.
There's a Spider-Man cameo. There's a Doctor Doom cameo. There's an Omega Red cameo. They want to start a series of animated MCU series.
Well, Omega Red has always showed up in works that Wolverine is in.
Right, but this is actually Magneto's fault because Magneto did a dumb. So part of this plot is Magneto shuts down the world, and they do it scientifically incorrectly. He does a giant EMP, which fries electronic systems the world over. So he's killed billions of people in season 1.
Lots of old people, though, and we found out in COVID nobody cares about that.
But then they postulate that it has somehow damaged the Earth's magnetic sphere, so the planet is dying as well if he doesn't fix it.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works. And even if he does fix it, all the lights kick back on. It's like, no, anything that he fried that was on is fried. It doesn't kick back on.
Well, and there's also ways to make your electronics EMP proof, like the military do it all the time.
Not even that, but I mean, like the light bulbs themselves would probably be fucked, but the circuitry and the wiring wouldn't be bothered. Like you just plug in a new light bulb.
Right.
Yeah.
But this brings us to the thing is that Omega Red was in a stasis box in Russia. They had him in a box. Magneto turned off the box. He let out a serial-killing Cold War psychopath with illusions of global conquest. Good job, Magnus.
Yeah.
This is the same series that in doing her antagonistic arc, they made Rogue out to be a complete cunt. Because not only did she destroy a Hulk base for no reason, but she tried to have a take that at the Avengers for not helping mutants by taking away Steve's shield and throwing it into the Canadian wilderness like he's not going to find it.
Oh yeah, that was retarded.
Because Steve is like, hey lady, we have to follow the rules. We live in a society. And she's like, yeah, but your society's not helping mutants, is it? So get fucked, Superman. It's like, wait a minute. He's not saying he won't help you. He's saying you can't go tearing around destroying military bases to do it. Imagine that. But then, of course, you can't have a mutants are hated and feared narrative when the people who should help them actually fucking help them. Like Steve Rogers is somehow helpless in the face of Bastion, right?
Yeah. So, Church saw that Eric show I mentioned with Bingledirt Happy Back.
Wengelbert Flappy Back, yes. Slut Bunwalla.
So what did you think of Eric?
I didn't know what the fuck was going on for the first 4 episodes. And then when I finally figured out what was going on, I didn't like any of it.
Mm-hmm.
the addict father who was like, let me put this out there. The creative type, quote unquote, who does how do you say, who, I'm trying to figure out how to word this properly.
Who does discount Sesame Street?
Yeah, but the trust fund creative type who is rich because he has daddy's money, and daddy's a conservative capitalist, while the
Daddy's
rich
Trump.
creative. Yeah, while the rich kid is basically everyone who protested against Trump. He's also a cuckold. And
So what you're saying is this would be much more realistic as if he had 5 kids. And he had a blonde chick living with him and his wife.
Did you see how many places he had fucking booze stashed in his house?
I mean,
like, did you see how many places he was looking for alcohol? That was depressing. Like, I've never hidden alcohol. Like, I drink. I enjoy drinking.
Well, remember, lefties believe that no one can be happy. The extremist lefties believe no one can be happy. And that you can't have any vices in a healthy fashion. So if you drink, you must be an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, you must be the worst alcoholic. Every time.
But they actually had a guy who was happy. It was the Mexican who was banging his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
The Mexican who's banging his wife, not the white guy. White guys are not.
I actually think he was Middle Eastern.
I mean, that's fair. He could have been Middle Eastern.
I'm just saying.
Way too much pedophilia in this show. Like, I was getting weird vibes off of that. There's a
whole child prostitute subplot.
Good God.
Yeah, that didn't sit well.
Was it necessary for the plot? Were some pedophiles going to get shot?
Actually, hold up. Actually, it was, because investigating the pedophiles led to the police finding the kid.
Okay.
The police didn't find the fucking kid. They missed the kid at every turn.
Well, I mean, the police would argue that they had all the information, they were in the right direction, just the kid got there first.
Yes, a 9-year-old outran the police.
But the police detectives did get clues from investigating the child prostitution.
God, I can even watch this show, and by proxy, I'm getting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dad has become like at one point in the show near the end, the dad had become,
he was smoking crack.
Well, no, he had become.
Was he smoking that super crack?
Yes, he was.
I wish he was. I wish he would have exploded. But he had become the stalwart figure. He'd left the comfort of his home. He'd left the wife who was cuckolding him, and she was pregnant with this guy's baby, by the way, and she and this guy was her student also, so there was that element of it as well. So she was like in her 40s, and this guy was like 20. So that was bad. But anyway,
are we talking about Nick Rekieta again?
The wife the husband had left. Wanglebert Flattyback had left his home and was going to search for his son with the help of his imaginary friend, who was the monster he created for a Sesame Street show that his son had designed. And you think, okay, finally he's trying to get his shit together, right? He's finally trying. I mean, he's still drinking, but he's not, doing lines of cocaine. He's not doing. And then when he stumbles like not 10 feet away from where his child is, he gives up and does heroin. And I'm just like, I mean, at that point, I was like, they should have ended the show on episode 5 with the kid dying in the water. And nobody should have had a happy ending in that show. Everyone should have had a bad ending. Like, the wife should have been left dead. or not dead. The wife should have been left abandoned by both men, raising a child that she begrudged because her original child was dead. The dad should have died of a heroin overdose. All the cops should have been fired.
But the dad ended up being rewarded.
Yeah.
His boss ended up being busted for banging prostitutes, and he ended up getting a promotion.
No, his boss ended up killing himself.
Because-
You mean the big boss?
Yeah.
The main boss did get arrested. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, not something I particularly thought was good.
No, sorry, I'm going to address the chat real quick. No, Einbreck, I didn't put on the medallion. I fiercely masturbated with it.
He has it on a small altar dedicated to his dark gods.
So we're going to talk.
Meaning, I believe Jesus was a black man.
We're going to talk a little bit now about the discourse about movies being dead. So Furiosa and Fall Guy came out. A lot of big people on film
Real
Twitter.
quick, but before you go into your review, would you rather watch those two movies or Frankenhooker? Or I should say, let me rephrase it. Did you have more fun watching Frankenhooker or those two movies?
I would rather watch Frankenhooker than Furiosa. And this actually be a review of 4 movies. Because all 4 of these movies fit into the discourse about the death of the theater.
Okay, someone.
So people are talking about how, Fall Guy didn't do really well. Furiosa didn't do really well. The movies are over. Studios can't, produce movies that audiences want to watch. But then a little movie came out called Bad Boys Ride or Die. And that movie did gangbusters. It's made its whole production cost in its opening weekend. So it's going to be a very profitable movie. Now, Church, have you ever watched any of the Bad Boys movies?
No.
No, Rune has watched the Bad Boys movies, so it opens, like they all do, with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence having misadventures. Martin Lawrence needs to get some ginger ale. He's got an upset stomach before he goes to Will Smith's wedding. And he then buys a bunch of junk food that he's not supposed to get because, he eats junk food. And then the convenience store gets robbed. They, of course, fight them because they're the bad boy cops. They get to the wedding. Martin Lawrence, dances and has a heart attack. Nearly dies. Then he gets a vision from their dead former captain. But there's going to be something bad happening. You guys need to be ready. And then there's a bad guy who implants evidence that the captain was secretly working for the drug cartels. So it turns out there's a dirty federal agent that goes after Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's character. So they and their allies in the police and the U.S. Marshal Services have to arrange a set of circumstances to capture the corrupt government officials, get them arrested, clear the captain's good name, and save the day. And they do. That's the movie. And Martin Lawrence has a whole subplot where he thinks he can't die because it's not his time yet. And Will Smith really wants to smack the shit out of him for that. It's, it's a typical movie. They also introduced in the last movie the son-in-law for Martin Lawrence's character as a Marine, who, when the drug cartel came to murder Martin Lawrence's family, the Marine pulled out, looked like an AR. He just quietly and systematically murdered all of the cartel guys in the house. It's pretty fucking great. It's a good scene. And then they kind of dovetailed that in at the end with the 3 men all arguing over who was the man enough to do the barbecue. It was a good movie. People went to see that movie because it was good. And these nerds on film Twitter are all like, oh, well, black and brown people are really what's pushing this movie forward. Well, I mean, sure. Black people like Martin Lawrence, black people like Will Smith. But maybe, just maybe, this is a movie that delivers fun, excitement, and doesn't defy expectations. It gives people just what they're expecting. But I watched Furiosa, which was one of the worst movie experiences I've had this year. It was, without a doubt, worse than Frankenhooker. So, in the movie Furiosa, it takes an hour and a half for the movie to get to the point. Now, I know what you're asking. What happens in that hour and a half? What do you think happens in that hour and a half, Ayrton? Or Rune, because Ayrton's got his mic muted.
A visual spectacle mostly made up of what is it? Chris Hemsworth goofing around and being
Nope.
pseudo villainous himbo.
Nope. Chris Hemsworth, he's barely in the movie as the villain.
It's not
What
the
do you
best
think?
idea.
What do you think was they wasted an hour and a half of the movie on?
The gender swapped lead character, Charlize Theron.
Well, no, Charlize Theron wasn't in this movie because she's too old. They had a kid actress and Anna Taylor-Joy.
Hey, all I know is that the new BMW R18 made an appearance in one of the chase scenes. So,
for the Bad Boys.
I don't know. I just saw BMW tweeted it out like, "Hey, the new R18 is in Furiosa."
Huh. I'd have to double check the notes. So they spent an hour and a half setting up how Furiosa got to a position where she was in Immortan Joe's army. Spent an hour and a half getting us to that point in a 2 hour and 45 minute long movie.
This movie was almost 3 hours.
It was almost 3 hours. It felt like it was 8. So
was Chris Hemsworth at least fat in this movie? Did they have fat for?
No, he was his normal muscular self, but he was wearing a prosthetic nose, a nose worthy of Nick Rekieta. He was not though, and so he had a terrible plan to seize power away from Immortan Joe. And so Immortan Joe, let's see what Ayrton has here. Oh yeah, so he was riding in that thing.
Yeah, so that's BMW's newest. Technically, they came out in 2019, but this is the 2025 BMW R18. Great fucking motorcycle.
Yeah. So he got Immortan Joe to give him control of Gastown for some reason.
Adobe has a fly fishing swastika on their website. I just figured I'd share that with you guys.
I mean, that's pretty good. And then later on, turns out that Chris Hemsworth's character is trying to use his control over the gasoline supply to overthrow Immortan Joe's empire. And so we're presented with our moral quandary for the movie at somewhere around an hour and 45 minutes in. Does Furiosa want to focus on getting revenge, or does she want to escape and pursue freedom? We already know it's not the second one because we already saw Fury Road. And there's a big fight. Eventually, Furiosa loses an arm in the fight, and she invents her own robot arm. And she then, in the middle of the battles that are going on, hunts down Chris Hemsworth's character and murders him because he murdered her mom. And the movie strongly implies she somehow planted a tree through him that was making peaches. That was the movie. Now, are you into the Mad Max movies, Church?
No.
So the character of Max is a folk hero. Like all the movies, at least at some level, until Fury Road, have the conceit of this is the story of the people who restarted civilization, telling tales of the Road Warrior. And so the
Hulking Animal from WWE fame?
No, but that would be better. That would be better. So in this one, they were trying to tell a legend of Furiosa, but it wasn't a legend from the civilization that emerged from the ashes. It was from just before the last movie. It was bad. It was badly written, badly thought out. The visuals were spectacular, but they were spectacular in service of nothing. There was nothing that really happened for most of the movie. There were some action sequences with the little kid. There was one fight scene with the little kid. One fight scene with Anna Taylor-Joy. And that's it. It was a nothing burger of a movie. And then there was The Fall Guy, which everybody wanted to do well. And The Fall Guy was a romantic comedy that wanted me to know it was smarter than it actually thought it was. Because it told me that. Because there was a movie within a movie. And the movie had a problem in the third act. And they said in the movie, in one of the first scenes of the movie, what if we say in the movie that we're having a problem in the third act to let the audience know that we're having a problem in the third act of the movie?
So isn't this just supposed to be a movie about like a stunt guy? Like, why is
No.
everybody going crazy for it?
Well, because it's a romantic comedy action movie starring two of the most popular talents in Hollywood.
Nicolas Cage and Sigourney Weaver?
No. It's Mr. Literally Me, Ken from the Barbie movie. And, the actors from A Quiet Place, who are not real movie stars. They are good actors. They're very talented actors, but they're not movie star draws. The plot of Fall Guy was, kind of basic, kind of simple. Colt Seavers was a down on his luck former stuntman who gets brought back in because the movie star, who he had, backed up for years and years, was missing. He was missing because he murdered his previous stuntman, which was
so OJ.
Kind of, sort of. And so they decided to hire
R.I.P. to the GOAT.
Yep. They decided to hire his old stuntman, Colt Seavers, to come back to be set up as the person who did the murder, which was dumb. And the movie wanted me to care about the romance between the two main characters, and it just really didn't. The action scenes weren't that great. The stunt scenes weren't that great. The mystery wasn't that great. It was just Ryan Gosling and, Emma, whatever her name is. I didn't care for it. But he was better than Frankenhooker and definitely better than Furiosa.
I doubt it was better than Frankenhooker. How dare you?
That's a penis.
Yes, that is what that is. And then we have a fourth movie in the discourse on cinema being dead called The Hitman. The Hitman is about a professor who gets a job pretending to be a hitman for the cops. And he becomes very good at it. And then he finds a hot chick who he takes sympathy on, and he doesn't, narc on her about her desire to kill her husband, convince her to not kill her husband. And he's told by the police, hey, you probably shouldn't have done that, but I mean, she was hot. We could turn the other way. And then he has a relationship with this girl who then sets him up to cover up for the fact that her husband died. And there's another police officer who had been the guy who faked being a hitman, who actually killed her husband.
So we're basically rehashing that plot line from where Jon Snow spared a wildling in Game of Thrones.
Kind of, sort of. But here's the thing about that movie. That movie cost $10 million to make. Had it went to theaters, it would
less than the original Power Rangers movie in 1995.
This is true. Even adjusted for inflation, it's
and Frankenhooker only cost $2.5 million.
Yes, but Frankenhooker only made back 10% of that.
Yeah, 205,000.
Speaking of Power Rangers, did you see that link I sent earlier, Church?
No, let me go look at that.
So, what do you think about these four movies and what they say about the current discourse about movie theaters being dead?
like I said earlier, I hate the fact I have to agree with Kevin Smith. I just also point out that, yeah, it's real classy that Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino and the like can say this now, that the fire has already started, and didn't have the balls to say it earlier when they were making the money.
In fairness, Tarantino did say that in the 2000s. That things were getting too expensive.
I'm sorry, you just faded out way hard. You sound like you're across the room.
Pardon me. I said Tarantino did say that in the 2000s it was getting up there.
Sure, but I'm just saying that it is easy now that the house is on fire, to say the house is on fire, and is way less impressive to say, hey guys, maybe we should, think about this ahead of time because the house is going to be on fire. It is absolutely bad that there are trash movies coming out. That is true. It is worse that trash movies are coming out at a time where the value of a movie theater is so inflated that it's like, well, why aren't people going to movies? Oh, it's got to be because of digital. It's got to be because of this. It's got to be because of that. Maybe it's because nobody wants to spend that much to go see your fucking trash.
Rune, hear me out.
Okay.
You and me, let's work together. Let's come up with a movie pitch of something that's at least slightly better than what we've watched today. I think we can make some money.
I mean, yeah, if we had connections to people and could get something done, we could probably at least make back a minor investment.
We can get BC-14 on the line.
Exactly.
Look, if BC-14 actually wants to make a movie and wants to work with us, that'll be amusing, and I would certainly love to get some money.
Rune, just hop on the casting couch. It's fine. It'll be okay.
I wouldn't love doing the work or being involved in it or having my name on it, but the money would be nice.
Now that's the attitude of being a producer.
Look, all I'm saying, okay? Let's take an example of something that's coming up that I think most of us do kind of want to see. Okay? Deadpool and Wolverine is coming soon. Whether you liked the Deadpool movies the first time around or the second one is irrelevant. Whether or not you like Hugh Jackman as a human being is irrelevant. Most people like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Most people at least enjoy Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool to some degree, because I do think that Ryan Reynolds can act, and I think he is more than Van Wilder. I just think he either chooses or gets offered shitty parts. Right? The two of these people together could be a lot of fun. I think it could be a fun movie. Is it a great movie? No. Is it going to be a fun movie? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. Is it going to do okay? Probably. Right?
I think it's going to be fun mostly because like the two of them are actually like pretty good friends in real life.
Right. The thing is, right, is what is Hollywood going to do when they see that movie does well? Are they going to say, we should take lessons from this, change our model, and make better films that please crowds? Fuck no. What they're going to say is, we need to copy-paste this movie at our current price point, and we'll make back our losses. And we'll just do that until it stops making money. And when it starts to stop making money, we'll blame them for being unpleasable.
Yeah, they're going to start doing a bunch of like mashups of random characters and shit.
That is the strategy.
Right.
So while we were talking, I have come up with a potential sponsor for the show. If you could pull that up, Aaron.
Fishing lures?
I can't pull anything up.
What do you mean you can't pull anything up?
Oh, you mean just open the link?
Yeah, open the link.
Oh, okay.
And post it so we can see it.
Okay, so we're going to this.
I'm still looking at fishing lures and fishing stuff.
No, we haven't pulled it up yet. We haven't pulled it up yet. So, Ayrton, if you
Hold
could.
on, I got it.
This was from a recent anime convention.
This is no, it was a comic book convention where Riley was arrested.
Yes. But I mean, we could, we get a sponsor right now. I'm not sure how much they pay.
They'd probably charge us
37 cents.
$37 probably just for the sponsorship.
They will pay an amount of change out of the back of their pocket equal to the length of the inversion of Ayrton's micropenis.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Am I so out of touch? No, the children who were wrong.
But all I'm saying is
that's what Rune just akin movie studios to.
Right. And what I'm getting at is I've had a recent ongoing argument with my boss about value versus basically sunk cost fallacy.
Oh, you? No.
Yeah, I know, right?
Never. You wouldn't dare.
The thing is that my boss is making the argument that some things need to be expensive because if they are undervalued, then the only reason people get mad is that when they have to pay the real value, it feels like they're being ripped off. Right? And it's like there's room for that argument, certainly. Right? But the thing is that he has not successfully answered the question of how do you raise value to the new benchmark when you didn't change your model, right? He hasn't answered the question of inflation, right? Movie ticket prices and the related foodstuffs are higher than ever. You basically have to finance a movie, plan it much in advance.
Now,
right?
It's good that you came up with the discussion point of foodstuffs and inflation. If you could check what I'm sharing with everybody.
I see that.
That is Ethan Van Sciver.
Being inflated by
he is
food
definitely
stuff.
inflated. Yes.
But
look how skinny his legs are.
Yeah, he has skipped leg day a lot.
But the thing is that the quality of the films has not increased to meet that financial demand, and the general statement is, well, they're luxuries, so you get what you get. It's like, okay, if I told you that this bucket of horse shit is a luxury bucket of horse shit,
I'd like to buy 5 right now.
You want to buy 5 luxury horse shit buckets full of
Make it
actual
10.
horse shit?
Is it luxury horse shit?
I have told you it is luxury. That does not luxury.
You're losing me on the sales pitch here, Rune. I only want 8 now.
Right. But here's the thing.
I only want 6.
But here's the thing. You want 8 luxury horse shit. Fine. I am now going to sell you 4 luxury horse shit. And they're going to be more expensive.
Wait, when do I get my other 4?
No. I gave you your 8, but don't you want these 4 special edition luxury horse shit?
See, I only asked for 6 though.
Because what I'm getting at here is that it's the same horse shit in the same bucket with the same result that you have now acquired horse shit. Right? But we're asking for a higher price and we're giving you less and calling it more.
Wait, is this just an advertisement for McDonald's breakfast burritos?
Basically. But that's the thing, right? Okay, so we have bigger theaters.
Smaller than Ayrton's cock.
We have bigger theaters with more seats, which means more total sales for the theater, right? But We have the same number of shit movies that are shit, right? But we're charging more for tickets, not less. And they're like, why are movie theaters dying? Well, maybe because nobody wants to pay that much for that bullshit.
And I hate the fucking thing where they make you choose what seat you sit in on the little tablet. Like, fuck you. I want to walk in and sit down where I sit down.
Right.
You can go. You can go fuck off.
Well, here's the thing, okay? And I'm not defending movie theaters here, but the reason movie theaters have gotten more expensive is because in lieu of cutting profits, they have increased the prices of everything based on their own price increase because their rent's gone up, their power bill's gone up, their utility bill's gone up, everything is
Payroll's
gone
gone up.
The board. Payroll's gone. Well, that's the smallest go up of all, but payroll taxes have gone up. Now that's a thing. So that's what we're seeing here. So we keep seeing these businesses reporting record profits, but they're not making record sales. If you'll notice, they never word it, we've made record sales. So what they're doing is they're making these record profits because they've increased the price of commodities and services across the board without actually increasing the value of what you're getting. You've actually gotten a lower value margin to offset the increased price. If you were getting the same item at an increased margin, you'd actually be paying somewhere between 30 to 35% more as opposed to the 14 to 20% more that we're paying now. That's the fuckery of it. That's why everything's getting smaller and costing more.
Right. The thing is that if this was actual commodities, if this was water, which you cannot live without, people would throw a conniption fit and they wouldn't stand for it. But because it is in entertainment, it gets to hide behind, well, it's optional. You don't need it. No, human beings need a certain level of entertainment to survive.
You're wrong. No, you're wrong, because it has happened with things you need to survive. I mean, if you go to the grocery store.
No, I am aware that they are also doing it with things that you need to survive, but they have to be more circumspect about their greed.
No, they don't.
They absolutely do.
Look at the price of meat. No, look at the price of meat and compare it to what it was 5 years ago.
And look at how much effort's being exerted to sell you propaganda about being vegan.
That's not being circumspect. That's just being stupid.
No, it is part of the same thing. They are trying to convince you that you don't need meat so that elites eat meat to make you eat the rabbit fare.
Yes,
because the rabbit fare is cheaper to produce for them.
Yes, I don't play that.
You don't play that. That's what they're doing.
But no, I'm saying as a father of three, I see it every day. We've talked privately that I am currently making more money than I've ever made in my life. It's not an exorbitant amount of money. It's not even a comfortable amount of money. But I was living comfortably 3 years ago on $8 less an hour than I'm making right now.
Right.
And now it feels like I'm not living as comfortably as I was 3 years ago, even though I'm making $8 more an hour.
See, where I think the real problem comes in, and why we're all so confused about this whole thing, is not the greed. We understand greed, right? It's I think it's the self-destructive element. You have a business, you're making money, you're succeeding. Why would you actively adopt of your business model so that you cannot continue to make money in that business?
So here's the thing, bro. Here's how it works for the movie studios. They aren't being paid based on what they get off the tickets. They're using their tickets to pay their financing. So banks will be willing to pay to get a percentage of all the profits they make from the movies as a guarantee on the loan versus, just paying bills. You can slice those things up into bonds, into securities, and it's being more profitable to make things less profitable.
So we're back to exactly what it's always been, which is it's the scam.
not only that, but if you notice, there are so think back to when you were a kid. You might have noticed 4 to 5 movies a year coming out because you were a kid and those were the ones that interested you. So you might not see more than 10 to 15 movies come out a year back in those days that would hit theaters. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays, that's a season of movies that are hitting theaters. So they're capitalizing more on opening weekend sales by having more releases to get you into the movie theater to buy popcorn, to buy drinks.
And they're trying to have the theater split be on the later weekends where less people will see the movie.
Back in the day, I mean, the Ninja Turtles was in theater. The original Ninja Turtles movies was in theaters for almost 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing the second X-Men movie like 3 times in the theaters when that came out.
And you
I did see
just for the I'm the Juggernaut bitch thing, right?
That was X-Men 3. No, the second one was they go to the like lab military base thing in Canada or whatever.
The Weapon X.
Oh right, that was Deadpool.
No, that was before that.
No, the second X movie.
Right, the second X movie was with Deadpool, right?
No.
No.
Now you're being a pedant, Church. I'm gonna slap you.
That was Wolverine Origins.
No.
Okay.
That's the other one.
I don't know. There's too many fucking comic book movies.
There's X-Men, there's X2, and then there's X3. X3 is the worst one because that one wanted to be Dark Phoenix and Mutant Empire and didn't do either of them well.
No, but I'm trying to figure out which one had the Ryan Reynolds mouth with Deadpool.
That was
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, that was the first Wolverine movie.
Right. Which has nothing to do with with the one that Ayrton was talking about. Ayrton's talking about the one that is a Weapon X film about Wolverine where they go and they beat up Fat Man Stryker.
And it's fucking great. I think that's the best one.
Legion was his kid in that movie. I remember that.
Legion, that fucking waste of a character that I've never liked.
The only good thing that came out of Legion was Age of Apocalypse.
I mean, if that was good, I don't think it was.
I believe he's talking about the comic, not the
I know.
Not the movie.
I know.
I don't know if AOA was bad. I know AOA had some interesting ideas that were never fully realized.
I didn't care.
Because all the ideas only got 4 issues.
Well, yeah, but like AOA gave us Nate Gray. Nate Gray leads to Onslaught. Onslaught was actually halfway interesting before they fucked it.
I think I'm with Larry on Onslaught the way he is on AOA. I didn't particularly care for Onslaught.
Yeah,
it felt like an extension of Age of Apocalypse that just didn't need to happen.
When Onslaught first dropped, I was down. Once they brought back Onslaught because no popular money producing character can stay dead, I cared less.
Uncle Ben stayed dead.
Except he's not.
They brought him back.
He's back.
Yeah,
Gwen didn't stay dead either. No money making character can stay dead.
Martha and Thomas Wayne stayed dead, even though they come back to die every few years.
And Sony is planning to make a Uncle Ben movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Will he open up a successful rice business?
He will not. No, because that's a different Uncle Ben.
That's the one I'm interested in watching, though.
You know what? I could see this. You could sell this to Hollywood, Church. You convince a bunch of no. What you do is you convince a bunch of corporate shills, okay, to put together the media franchise and the product placement, right? So in an alternate dimension, because hey, No Way Home and Spider-Verse, right?
Miles Morales' uncle.
A black Peter Parker has a black Uncle Ben, who is Uncle Ben, the rice maker, and gets killed by urban violence, leading to Miles Morales becoming a Spider-Man.
With great power comes great Cajun seasoning.
Exactly. And you know what the best part is? I know how you sell this to dipshits. Do you know how you sell this to dipshits? You get Avery Brooks to voice Uncle Ben.
No, Morgan Freeman. Come on.
Yes. Had to be Morgan Freeman.
I mean, if you're really going to go this all out, you make it all-star. You get as many...
Or Denzel. You can get Denzel.
You get as many major actors of color as you can.
Samuel L. Jackson.
I mean,
that's good motherfucking rice.
With great motherfucking power comes great motherfucking responsibility, you son of a bitch.
I mean, considering he's done it before, I think the obvious answer is you get Sam Jackson to be the voice of Norman Osborn, who is ultimately responsible for the death of Uncle Ben.
Wait,
Sam Jackson has voiced white characters before. Watch the Boondocks.
No. How do you feel? How do you think that Norman Osborn is responsible for the death of Uncle Ben?
Oh, he's not. But we're talking about some awful corporate shilling in Hollywood, but they will make it that way and call it lore building.
I see.
Right. You see, what happened was
No, I got it. So Norman Osborn is related to the guy that owns the Roxxon Corporation. The Roxxon Corporation made the chemical plant that made Tombstone. Tombstone, best friend of the assistant editor at the Bugle, right? Started a crime wave, because this is actually the plot of Ultimate Spider-Man the cartoon that was supposed to lead to the creation of superheroes for Norman Osborn, and he was responsible for the criminals that ultimately, accidentally, while just having a crime time, killed Uncle Ben. So in ex post facto, Norman Osborn is responsible for the death of Uncle Ben.
The plot of Frankenhooker was less convoluted than what you just said.
Well, yes, because the plot of Frankenhooker is a credence to the idea that this might one day be a movie.
It's true.
It do.
Frankenhooker has a plot by accident, not by intention.
Aren't we all here by accident?
I know we planned this. We did this on purpose.
Yeah, for some reason, all you assholes associated with me. I don't know why. I mean,
for some reason, you guys said, sure, I'll watch this movie with you.
Oh, I mean, I know exactly why I'm here. I showed up one time to show my book, and then I stayed because I've made horrible life decisions.
You should make better life decisions.
I've been meaning to tell you to leave for like 7 months, but like eventually most people get the hint and leave the party, but Rune just fucking hung in there, buddy.
So when are we heading down to Tampa, Rune? Gonna go to that goth club and go fuck with some Scientologists?
Look, Church is a giant shape-changing android building. Okay? So clearly he has garbage cans. I'm just the local wildlife that moved into that garbage can and refuses to leave.
So Church, do you have any more material?
Let's see. Well, I did buy Talisman so we could all attempt to play that, and I attempted to run through a game of it.
You know, I've never played a deck building game before, right?
It's not a deck building game.
It's not a deck builder. It is a generic fantasy board game with a lot of extra bells and whistles.
Yes, it's got too many.
Which I've also never played before either.
It is literally pick your dude, roll your dice, move along the board Monopoly style.
And you'll probably die a bunch.
So I can shitpost in this game like I have every other game we've played.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'll come back to church. Did you watch that thing?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you
we
find
can pull
that
that
thing?
up. Yeah, we can pull that up.
Yeah.
I'll probably be wishlisting this on the Steam. Let me just conceal my power level here.
It's over 9,000 beers.
Where's the white power?
That shows up later.
Oh, okay.
You have to have the green Power Ranger switch.
I agree with the one critique I have seen, which is that way too many beat 'em ups are evoking Shredder's Revenge as their style, when they should either get their own or they should emulate other beat 'em ups for a wider range of flavors. Because I want some new Golden Axe people.
Well, the one thing that I saw about this is there are some allusions to Tommy becoming a playable character in this game.
Oh yeah, you know they have to. They can't not. They want that money.
I just wonder if he was cut from this trailer because of recent events.
Either that or because they want to paywall it so it's a DLC. But either way, I mean, still, I saw that and I was like, oh, the guys are going to like this. And by God, they will probably say they want to inflict it on us. So at some point in some far gone future, we may end up playing Power Rangers beat 'em up 4-way on stream.
Oh no, we'll have to get Dillard involved in that too. We'd have to have the whole team.
Oh yeah,
you can play the Yellow Ranger.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, they could go the stupid way. It could be local co-op, which I fucking hate.
I mean,
it's like, yeah, get on your couch and play with your friends. It's like, motherfucker, do you not realize you live in the digital era?
No, they would have to develop it for online multiplayer.
They should.
Dillard could be the Cook's Food and Foil Ranger.
Hey, before they're done with that, maybe Dillard will actually have his game in a playable format. We can go be the Buckler.
Hey, remember, Rune, Dillard is everywhere.
I know Dillard is everywhere.
So Ayrton has some excellent content for us here.
Well, so Food with Fee, she's got a new one. And,
hey, you're supposed to work on getting Fee into our show.
It's a slow play, all right, but I'm working on it.
He's got to seduce them.
Hi, welcome back to Food with Fee on the Truly Imagination Entertainment Cooking Channel. As you know, my name's Fee, and I make food sometimes, and it's actually daylight out
again. Can I just ask this right off the top?
Yeah.
Is it me or has she given up?
Oh, she gave up 16 episodes ago. What are you talking about?
But here's the thing. In the previous episodes that we have had, though she does have this propensity to lean forward and show us the goods, right?
Her tits do look better in this episode than usual.
By and large, she is dressed conservatively and kind of rosy homemaker style, right? This is literally like daddy issues wear, right? Where it's like, here are my hips that I don't really have. Here is my midriff. Here are my tatas. Because she knows that's what people are actually coming to watch and not her food crafting skills.
I mean, we'll see. She did have one episode where, like, her tit did fall out of her tank top. So,
I mean, did she catch it or was it obscured?
So she caught it at one point and edited it out. But if you watch a little bit farther, she doesn't catch it, and you can totally see some areola.
Hey, and it's actually Sunday, so I'm not late with this. Fingers crossed. Sorry. Today we're doing a not themed recipe because coming up with themed recipes can be difficult. So I'm turning this like that.
It's difficult to do after a night of partying at the club and drinking and doing coke off of a clown's backside.
Yeah. And we don't give myself retina damage. As I was saying, I'm kind of just doing a recipe I found on Instagram. Well, the recipe on Instagram was for something else, but the base of the recipe from Instagram.
Wait, so I found a recipe on Instagram for something else, but I'm going to use this recipe to make a different thing.
She is also perpetually adjusting her pants like they might at any moment hit the deck, which we know they won't.
Well, they might if she's talking to me, but...
That's what I'm doing. Today we're making cheesecake squares, basically, and we're also going to be making strawberry sauce to put on top, which I've already done in one of my other videos, but what we are doing is we're starting with...
What the fuck was that edit? Holy shit.
Our crust. Now, it says 18 graham crackers, but someone was a bit stupid and didn't buy graham crackers.
Someone? Can we guess which someone?
So, I had one.
You know, Rune, this chick makes me think of the meme that says, like, I asked her if she wanted scalloped potatoes for dinner, and she said, no, I don't like seafood. And that's when I realized she was just dumb enough to sleep with me.
One choice. Actually, no, I had two choices. Go to the store and buy graham crackers, or use the rest of these Oreo packets that have been sitting in my pantry and make an Oreo crust. And pray that that is enough Oreos. There's 2 per pack, so that's 2, 4, 6. Technically 4 cookies. I scraped the icing off. So we're doing that, and we're going to be putting it in the food processor and basically making an Oreo crust instead of a graham cracker crust. And honestly, Oreo crust tastes better. So I think this is a win. And as you know on the Food with Fee channel, if we don't have something that we need, you improvise, bitch! Anyway, it does call for 18 graham crackers and 12 tablespoons of unsalted butter. But for now, we're just gonna put these Oreos in the food processor and see what happens. In fact, I'm actually just gonna test this to see how this works.
That does not sound right.
Surprisingly well. And that's
No,
a lot
that sounds
of
pretty bad.
That's a lot of crust for only a couple Oreos. I'm gonna... That's weird. Do that, Fiona. Anyway. Put it in there. Press that down. That's not doing it. Okay, whatever. We'll just throw that out. So that still gonna do a couple because I don't know how many we're gonna need. And considering we have to fill up this pan, I'm gonna assume a lot. So we're just gonna keep doing this until I feel that we have enough. And if we don't have enough, I'll just break more Oreos. Okay. So we have successfully ground up our Oreos. Somehow I pulled this off. It's a bit chunky, but whatever. I'm just happy at the fact that I made a somewhat decent Oreo mixture.
Good job. You ground up some Oreos.
Anyway. Now we need pulse the crackers with the butter till they're brown. I don't know. So apparently the butter's supposed to be melted. I don't know what I'm doing, and I also
No, you don't. You never have.
I don't know what I'm doing. This doesn't tell you it needs to be melted. That's where I tend to fall short in my food making abilities.
Is someone falling asleep in the background over here?
Suck at reading recipes.
No?
Okay. And that's on me. I need to get better at reading stuff.
Yes, you do, honey. Yes, you do.
So, if somehow I can get her onto this show, what are your questions going to be?
Do you decide what things you mess up in the recipe in advance? And if so, how do you decide which ones you mess up?
Okay. Rune, you got anything?
Goat Corpse. She does a show where she messes up recipes on purpose, and we make fun of that show because it's entertaining to do so.
There we go. Now we have melted butter. All right.
I mean, have you ever watched us before, Goat?
Okay, after a shit ton of food processing, I actually did have to food process some golden Oreos because
that answers
we
that
didn't have enough
question.
regular Oreos. So there's like a couple patches of white Oreos where I had to like fill in some gaps. But our cake base is ready, so we're gonna pop this in the oven and let that shit bake for 10 minutes. And you will see me in 10 minutes when it's done baking. Okay, so my oven is not screaming at me. So I'm gonna find our oven mitts. And we're gonna take this out. There. Glorious. Crust. A little bit weird looking, but who cares? So, the side. We unplugged it. Because now it is time to start on our cheesecake. Okay. Got most of my stuff out. For this, you need 32 ounces of cream cheese, although I'm just using 3 of these because that's what I'm using.
You need 32 ounces, but I'm going to use this much because.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So
Can I have the super crack, Ayrton? I would much rather explode.
So I'm no longer in their Discord. It's not in my list, so I don't know if they banned me in. So me and Einbrecht are trying to figure this out at the moment. But I'll try and get her on.
2 cups of granulated sugar, half a cup of sour cream. I was so exhausted that I also forgot to get sour cream, so we're going to use some Greek yogurt. 6 large eggs, 4 tablespoons of 4 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice, and 1.
That was actually almost a cute fumble. I can see myself saying tablespoons.
So first we're gonna in the electric mixer, beat cream cheese and sugar until smooth and creamy. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna put our cream cheese in.
Hold on. How does this bitch afford a fancy like KitchenAid mixer?
I mean, we don't know what kind of Patreon, what chicanery they've got.
It was probably Dark Gift. He probably sent her enough money to buy one. Oh, wait, is she whale-tailing it right now?
Absolutely. Why do you think people watch her show?
I didn't know that was still a thing. I thought that ended in like 2006. God damn.
Anyway. Next, what do we need to do? Add sour cream.
She has the
Add sour cream, then the eggs one at a time, blending after each addition. Okay. How much sour cream do we need? This one's not open.
She has the money for the KitchenAid mixer, but not one of those utensil things.
None of these are open. I don't care. I'm exhausted. It's been a long, treacherous, exhausting couple of days. I had 2 gigs back to back. Both of them being night gigs, which sucks. But whatever. really complaining. It's nice to have work. Anyway, how much sour cream, yogurt, whatever the fuck? Half a cup. Cool. Half a cup of sour cream yogurt. It's not sour cream, it's yogurt, but whatever. I had no choice. I don't feel like going and getting more stuff for each one.
You know, I went so deep into the Nikita thing. I thought her shirt said impulse on it. I'm just saying, Nick does need somebody to make food for his kids.
That's true.
I was
Wait,
actually
so
about to
now-
apologize for. I'm sorry.
So now she puts on the fucking apron halfway through making
Absolutely.
a cheesecake.
I was just gonna apologize for not commenting enough because I have become like Pink Floyd. I'm just comfortably numb to this content. And then there's Larry with the with the MVP joke to pull me back out of my malaise.
I mean, she does look more attractive than the nanny Nick previously had. You see, now those are the kind of questions I'd ask her about.
I mean, to be fair, she's not showing off her feet in this video.
I mean, the obvious question to ask is, did you have breakfast this morning?
No, Ayrton. It's entirely possible she's got a foot cam available on her Patreon.
Oh. And no, this chick hasn't eaten breakfast in like 4 years. Come on.
Stuffy Bunny ate it.
Alright, let's mix this a little bit. Oh, I gotta clean this. Yep. Oh, this smells like alcohol. Fuck. Anyway. Done. So our cheesecake batter is done.
Wait, so you're making a cheesecake and you have 4 minutes left in this video.
Oh.
I feel like she fucked something up.
Mm-hmm. Let's find out what.
There we go. Clean that off. Then this off. Fuck! What the fuck?
So she's making those poor noises on purpose, right?
Hmm? She is.
Like, okay.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this?
I'm really uncomfortable watching this with 3 other dudes right now.
Bullshit.
Look, whoever finishes on the biscuit last has to eat it. Eric.
Man, I haven't played that game since, I was like 13. All right.
I apparently had a sheltered life. I have not done any of those vile things you are implying.
You never played Soggy Biscuit?
No. And I'm not going to start now.
You're missing out. Well, if we go to Tampa together, we're playing Soggy Biscuit.
Says the entirely supposedly heterosexual man that wants to eat jism off of a biscuit.
Wants a strong word. Has to because of the rules of the game.
No. If he's the one insisting on
Whoever
doing
comes
it,
last has to eat the cookie.
No. If Ayrton's the one insisting we have to, then he is the one that wants to. Because I could go my entire life without ever exploring that specific permutation of existence.
No, but see, Rune, I know I won't lose. So, like, it's not gay.
And then this has to sit for about 45 minutes. So we're just gonna set a timer for 45 and then we're gonna chill.
Here's the cheesecake. It's a little bit cracked, but you know what? That's okay.
So, Rune.
Right. What's up?
You're the resident person that actually knows how to, like, cook and bake around here.
No, he isn't.
No, he isn't.
Me and Larry fall into that bill more than Rune. I got on Rune at least for the last 2 Thanksgiving for not cooking his own turkey.
Hey, I can bake. I have the capacity.
I mean, it's really nice that she's putting some Play-Doh into a container and saying it's her food.
I feel like cheesecake isn't supposed to be like piss yellow, like after you've drank like 2 Monsters.
I mean, color is based on what you put into it. Consistency is the real question.
When a cheesecake is done, it's supposed to be like a golden color on top.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I do too many Monsters, it comes out pink, not golden.
Pink.
Mine comes out green.
I'm Larry. I'm concerned that
that might be a different issue, Larry.
Yeah.
That's what cheesecake is.
That might be
like.
That might be
Yes.
water, monster, and blood. Are you sure you're okay?
You can actually get a dehydration problem that causes bleeding sometimes down there.
Yeah, I'm saying, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I only have that problem when I'm drinking Monster.
I think that's.
Well, you shouldn't.
So yeah.
That's why I don't.
Pour the strawberry sauce and chocolate sauce on top of this, and then put it in the fridge. For a
Oh,
little
that's not gonna be a good time.
That looks really overcooked on top.
Hey everyone, sorry, I forgot to.
Well, this is a jarring cut. Holy
Not by
shit.
their standards.
Well,
Film an outro before it got super late at night because I was out all day and I was really busy. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Food with Fee on the Truly Imagination Entertainment channel.
Where's the
I know
strawberry
this
sauce? I
was
want to see the
really
final product.
exciting. I did say I was going to make marshmallows this week, but the week kind of got away from me. I was working a lot, so that didn't really get done. But I am adding that to the list of recipes that I want to do in the future. If you guys want to see me cook anything at all, like leave a comment down below of anything that you guys want to see. I read your comments. I see them. If you
she reads her comments.
already,
Okay.
Give the
That's why you're
podcast
banned from the
episode,
Discord.
podcast to listen. We're on the second readings of the Books of Bullshit, aka the kind of diaries that I've been writing in since 2020. They're pretty funny, just seeing the inner workings of what goes on in my brain. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Church, please have Ayrton
The
pull us
inner
out of our
workings.
misery.
The inner workings of what goes on in her brain.
Well, before we do we want to comment on our visitor?
Oh, I'm
Well, we already did.
commenting on the video right now. I'm gonna ask her to come on the show.
I was talking about whether we got a troll or a simp. I can't tell which.
Yes.
No, I checked out his YouTube channel. He's terrible.
No, I gotta do that.
That's for a later date, but well, actually, I can just put it here. Yeah, here I can just. There's 32 subscribers. Seven videos.
Should we scroll through his videos and play some? I think we should.
That's a later thing.
Yeah,
because we're.
I'll just put this in the private chat here.
Are you saying our vengeance will be slow when considered and well chosen?
Yes.
In the time of our
not vengeance. He's not worth vengeance, Rune. He's an idiot.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh wow! This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Apparently, Dan Capistan. I know
And Capistan.
Yeah. Using Jim's profile picture of Billy the Anti-Bully. That's pretty fantastic.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
UFC fight review, it looks like.
Okay, so let's see. I said, me and my friends love your videos. We'd love to have you come on a stream and talk about your cooking.
I mean,
How would
those
you
things
lie to
aren't
poor Joe
true.
like that?
We do love her videos.
No, I'm saying that is true. From a certain perspective, there is a truth that is in there.
From a certain point of view, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, I haven't lied. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck am I looking at? George Floyd rap? Can we play this?
I mean, I wouldn't, but we can.
So that's an old
This is how we're
stream.
This is how we're ending the show.
All right.
Fuck George Floyd, he touches little boys, stupid ass nigger, go give a hug, open arms, 18-wheeler, see a stupid knicker, and I kick her, I feel like a grand wizard, triple K with my liquor, I just raped your little sister, you were black, second class, fucking faggot, choke on the gas, suck on my dick and then go to my sack, you were a
I'm disavowing this.
Yeah, no, thank you.
They aren't really...
Anyway.
All right. Good night,
everybody.